Hi, I'm Anna and welcome to June's edition of Art Club. A little bit late as we're actually doing the real session next week, but for anybody watching who isn't going to be coming along to the real session, I've got a treat in store for you this week that you can do at home in your own garden or any way you like really. We are going to be making flower colour wheels. So these are super nice things to do. Very simple to lay out. You can use pretty much any materials you've got lying about at home, whether that's coloured pencils, paint of any description, it doesn't really matter. You'll need something to draw lines with. That could be a pen, it could be a biro, it could be a watercolour, I don't mean watercolour, do I? A waterproof pencil of some description, one that won't dissolve. Really anything that will go over the top. So what I'll do is I will get over to my palette and let's get cracking. Right, so first off what we're going to do is find a circle of some description. I've just got an old paper plate here. You don't need this, but it does make it a little bit easier further down the line. So all I'm going to do here, just grabbing a pencil, all I'm going to do here is just trace round very lightly around the outside of the circle. The reason being that I will probably want to rub that out later on, but at least now I can see roughly where my circle is, so I know what I'm going to work within. So that's the end of the pencils. Now I'm going to put a lot of water on this. If you're using watercolour, this is one way of doing it. Equally, you could do it with coloured pencil, you could do it with acrylics. It doesn't really matter, but what you're going to aim to do... Actually, do you know what? I've got a water sprayer. That would be even easier. I'm just going to get the whole thing nice and wet around there. Oh, there's a very excitable dog outside the studio today. Maybe it smelt some biscuits or something. Right, okay, so I've got quite a lot of water. I don't know if you can see that on the... there's quite a lot of water outside as well. It's raining a lot. Okay, so we've got some water going on. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to wake some paints up. Now, for anyone who is familiar with colour wheels, I'll show you how they go. With my very wet... Everything is super wet now. That's going to be a yellow area. And colour wheels work almost in like triangles, so I'm going to use a red for the next bit. It's a bit of a fierce red, but we'll just go for it. If anyone wants to know what that is, it's called Pyrrole red. And we're going to go for a nice, an ultramarine blue over here. Now, it's going to run like mad. As you can see, it's running everywhere. That is fine. We can always, if we want to mop up a run, the easiest way to mop up a run is not to get in there dabbing, but clean your brush off, make it nice and dry, and then just pick it up. There. I'm going to have to dab that because it really has gone... My piece of paper has got a fold in the middle, which is making things just that little bit more difficult to do. But it's fine. Doesn't matter. Right, now as you'll see there's gaps between these, so what we're going to do here is start getting some colours into the gaps. So that blue and that yellow together, get a load of paint on your brush and start getting it into the gaps, because it will continue to move about, and you can add more water and move it about too if you want to. Let's get even more colour. So green is the halfway point between those two, and I might just give that a little bit of a... There. Spray bottle from IKEA. Don't think they're going to be sponsoring me anytime soon, but never mind. So yellow and orange, rather yellow and red makes orange, as we know, so let's get that going on. Oh, that's a nice orange. I'm going to allow it all to merge into where... So I want it all to blend in. Now if you're using crayons, coloured pencils, etc, etc, in a way that's a lot easier because you just blend them in by hand as you're going round. Obviously I am making this a little bit harder because I am not doing that. I am trying to blend in wet watercolour. There is a lot of water on this page. Can you see how much water there is? I'm going to just... I'll hold it up. I'll hold it up so you can see quite what's going on. It's literally dripping. Now conveniently I have brought a hairdryer with me to the studio today. I'd love to say I was going to put it out in the sun, but the sun's gone. So we won't be doing that. Let's just leave it for a little while, and before you know it, it will be dry. And if you are doing this with watercolour, you're trying this with watercolour, do let the colours just blend. Let them do what they want to do. It will be a heck of a lot more exciting if you do that. If you keep dabbing, you will lose that lovely freshness and you'll lose the exciting things that are happening all the way around the page. So I'm going to put this down, go off and drink my tea, and then we'll start with the next bit. Okay, so I went and I'll admit it, I put it on a radiator for a bit because obviously it's June, we're in Britain, goes without saying. You can see now that this is dried and it's quite interesting what it's done. There's a lot of texture going on. I've used watercolour paper here. This bit here you can see is where the spray was just here, and it's come out really kind of crinkly, for want of a better word. You can see how the orange has merged all the way through. That bit's a bit weird, not going to worry about it. You can still see roughly where the circle line is. Yeah, so we've got some wonderful mixtures of colour going on here. And what I'm going to do next, oh, got flowers appearing on it from the flowers I've got right here. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to start working into this. Now that's basically a colour wheel as it is. So this is a really useful thing to do to get to know what your colours will do when they meet each other. So this particular light yellow and this particular red, these are the colours that they will make if you put them together. Every single yellow and every single red will make different mixtures. They will make different colours in that middle bit. So once you know what the colours in your palette can do, you can do all sorts of interesting things with them. Exactly the same if you're using coloured pencil and layering things. You could go for quite a rough scribble and allow bits to overlap. That could be really nice. You could even do this with felt tip pens if you wanted to. It doesn't really matter. You might have to sort of manually go into an orange and then the red and so on and so forth. But the idea is that you get all the colours on there and you're really kind of quick and dirty about it, really rough. And then you're ready to do some pen work over the top. It doesn't have to be pen. Again, you could use a black pencil, like a colouring pencil. You could use a biro if you had a biro. I really like a biro over the top of watercolour actually. It's got real sort of a little bit of texture to it because it digs in slightly. I've got lots of flowers around me, which you can't really see, but I've been teaching this morning and there are vases of flowers absolutely everywhere. So I've got quite a lot to pick from here. Realism is not really an issue. I am going to go for fun. Certain flowers I'm going to do from memory because I haven't got everything, all the colours I need in front of me. In fact, I've got a lot of pink things in front of me, which is completely useless because there is no pink on a colour wheel. You only get pink if you mix red and white together, really. So, enough talking. Let's get on with some drawing. And while I'm drawing, I might speed this bit of the video up a bit. We'll see how we go on. We'll see how long it takes me and if my imagination can come up with enough to fill this whole area. Right, off we go. Of course, the thing is, they don't actually have to be real flowers, do they? Because actually, you could just imagine all of them. I mean, I've gone for some poppies here because poppies are red and they look like they fit in nicely, but you don't have to do that. Orange. This pen I'm using, just for a bit more info, is a chisel tip marker. So I use these quite a lot when I'm teaching. I don't know if you can see the tip on this, but it's got like a little wedge shape on the end. So you can get nice flat marks, big marks, and you can also get very small marks, just really light, really delicate. Going through marigolds now. Because I like to draw and overlap everything, I am doing exactly that. You don't have to do that, but it does make it a heck of a lot of easier, actually. It makes it a lot easier to draw if you're not worrying about going over the things that are underneath. I draw a lot of flowers, so I have kind of a mental image bank of how a lot of them look. And these really ought to have like little serrations on the end, which I haven't done, but never mind, it doesn't matter. Right, okay, into the oranges. What now? I think some more like California poppies maybe. They're a bit smaller, a bit fluffier in the middle. Could go for nasturtiums, but they're really difficult to draw. Don't try those at home, kids. Am I going to try one? No, I've said that I'm going to have to, aren't I? Right, okay, let's go for it, nasturtium. Another one over here. That's passable. I'm going to put a few more. Do I want anything else there? I'll always add some leaves in later. I'm coming round to green and yellow now, so I'm going to put in some daisies. You know, the sort you get in garden centres, pot plant type things. Really like daisies. And you'll notice that if I go into another colour, I'm just letting that happen, or if I go out over the edge of the paper, because people's eyes are funny things. They will perceive, if they see a daisy that's got a bit of yellow on it, they will go, oh yeah, daisy. Let's put another one up here just for, I might put some buds in as well. Think of some more orange flowers before I get round to that bit, maybe to fill in. I'll come back to that in a minute. So we're about halfway round. I am going to stop talking now, because otherwise this video will go on for about 10 million years. Okay, well I think we're just about there. I think the trick with this is not to go too mad on it and put in too much stuff, because once you get to a point where it's quite full, it's really easy to carry on, and actually you don't really want to do that. You want to leave that space so that you can see here all the way around of all the different colours. All the different plants. We've got forget-me-nots, oh, what are they called? Not echiums, forgotten what they're called. Anyway, there's sea holly, eryngium, that's it, dahlias, poppies, marigolds, the whole lot. They're all there, and to be honest, they make quite nice pictures by themselves, but you could do it from imagination, you could do it from a magazine, you could cut out and stick flowers on if you wanted. The idea is the same. The idea is that you just make a whole wheel of all those beautiful colours, and it's just a really nice thing to do. It's really good for you to do this sort of thing. It just really gets you into enjoying each colour as you work your way around to it. There's this wonderful sort of sense of anticipation as you work into the next colour. So if you're at home and you've got a pencil and some crayons, anything like that, give it a go, and I will just show you that again up close. Okie dokie, and that's about it for this month. I hope you've enjoyed having a go at this, and if you have, please do send me a message and show me what you've been up to. I can be found on Instagram, I'm Sidmouth Skies on there. I can be found on Facebook, I'm Anna Brewster Art on there, or just send me a message. So this is what we've got. Hopefully yours looks just as lovely and colourful as this. And on a miserable rainy day outside, I think it's really nice to just bring a little bit of colour back to the summer. See you in July.